What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to G-Ball Vision. Thank you for stopping in today. I have a really exciting knife for everyone to take a look at. Before we get started, double check and make sure you are subscribed here to the channel. I'd love to have you hit that thumbs up button. It really helps push the video out there so more people have a chance to check it out. And let me know what you're carrying in your pockets today down in the comments. So I am really excited about this knife. This is a knife that I've been raving and raving about for quite a long time. And it's been one of my favorite knives of the last couple of years, no question about it. And I think it set a huge precedent for the future, kind of being ahead of its time, at least a little bit. We got to give a big thanks to Vosteed for sending this in for us to take a look at. And this is a really good scene right here. A hard case can only mean one thing, and that means we have a premium Vosteed here. And we are going to be looking at their version, and this is from basically the second run. This is going to be the Vosteed RSKaos, and this will be their version, not an exclusive or anything like that. It comes with all the works, microfiber cloth, patch, and a couple of stickers. So they've done a couple of exclusives, and then they have their own model, right? Or their own model and their own versions. This is going to be the sheep's foot variant, and these come in M390, which is awesome. Vosteed does such an amazing job all the way around. And looking back, they've had some really well done, affordable knives, budget knives. That's kind of where they originally made their name. They did have the flashlight, and then they started putting out knives in a more budget case. They did have some mid-range stuff as well, but this knife, I think, really showed everyone, whether you maybe didn't like how the blade, it was a dull grind, or maybe you didn't like this or that there wasn't enough cutting edge, which there's plenty there. This knife showed everyone what Vosteed was capable of. And not only did they build an incredibly solid knife, internally, fit and finish is what you would expect on the highest level production knives. But it also was sporting, for the first time, a compression lock not done by Spyderco. And I said back then, you can watch the unboxing, or I've done a video or two just solely on this knife. But I say back then, and I've had a couple of smocks, and this is only solidified now, since we've moved on from when this knife originally came out. They've put out several different button compression style locks, their top liner lock they call it. But it's another case where Spyderco created the compression lock, but Vosteed really perfected this. The way the button is done, the way that they are able to create an incredibly smooth but satisfying opening action, and then the closing action is just ridiculous. It's drop shut, but it's in a fairly controlled manner. Everything is just so well done. It's easy to rave about this knife. I put my LMAX version through the ringer, and it just performs so well. They're so comfortable. The ability to get right up in this finger choil here gives you a ton of control over the entire knife, over the entire blade. And then because of that, you can also creep up on that tip very easily. The titanium is well done, well finished. Got some milling here, titanium milled clip, titanium button. Just really well done. We have copper pivot collars there on both sides. And the reason we're checking this knife out is because they have several of these in stock right now. They have sheep's foot versions, they have the Wharncliffe versions, and I believe, I don't know what all is in stock at the point you are seeing this, but I believe almost all of them were in stock only on their website, I believe. And I'll link that down below in the description. If you do use that to buy this knife or use that link to buy anything on their website, it does help the channel, but that is up to you if you do so. So there are some of these in stock, which is awesome. And then a lot of people just don't know. You know, they aren't aware. They maybe wanted this knife, saw it was out of stock, and then haven't looked since, or, you know, who knows what may have happened. But basically, to let people know, they do have updated and new versions or new knives in for the RSKaos line, which is awesome. I think this was one of the most coveted knives over the last year and a half or so. These sold out. Then they put out the exclusive version, and that sold out. So we've done a lot of raving. Let's get our issuing stitches cloth out here and see what this milled tie clip looks like in the pocket. And you can see it's chamfered on the sides, which is going to make the aesthetics look cooler and make it more comfortable in hand. We do have a nice little chunk hanging out there, plenty to, you know, have surface area to pull this out of the pocket. Great retention. This knife was designed to be a fun knife, but I believe this was intended for an everyday user that is going to provide a lot of functionality, which is why you have the clean aesthetic and look of the milled clip, but you have the full functionality of being able to get this out of your pocket many times over throughout the day and it not be a nuisance. And then you have the full finger choil, you have the working blade shapes with the sheep's foot and the Wharncliffes, which are a huge hit in today's world. A lot of people have either went the way of sheep's foot or Wharncliffe, or basically have always been there, but they are great for certain tasks. Tantos and drop points, of course, and clip points as well, all have their uses and what they excel at. But for everyday work, for EDC stuff, for package opening, breaking down boxes, you know, even food prep, things like that, sheep's foots and Wharncliffes, especially these taller ones like this, they're just going to do a lot of things very well. Getting in behind strapping and rope and twine, belts, all that type of thing, sheep's foots are going to excel at very, very good. It's kind of fitting, but we have our last piece of telephone book paper until I can go to the post office and snag some more. But just look at that. Oh, great, great edge. I actually put the one I had through a ton of testing, cutting carpet up, which you should not do with your folding knife unless you know, absolutely have to. But getting a lot of knives in, buying a lot of knives gives me the ability to push some knives a little harder than they need to be if I choose to. But I chose, for whatever reason, to really beat on the other RSKaos that I had in. So it proved to me, not only can it be a great work knife, but of course I carried it for an everyday carry. Now, you know, some people, this knife might be a little large. I don't find it to be too large. I think there's plenty of edge there. People just aren't used to, you know, seeing a knife with a full finger choil, you know, or it's not something they see very often, which it does take some time to get used to. But once you get used to it and experience it better, you know, once you experience it first and foremost, how comfortable and how well it works when you're actually using the knife, it just makes a huge difference. The dual grind here, people complained about that. There's absolutely nothing to complain about. It looks cool. It does not affect day-to-day cutting in any form or fashion. So really, I think not something viable to complain about. There's very little, you know, I could critique this and change it around, you know, make this a rollover clip so it carries deep, but I get the point of not doing that. There's a time for designs to be one thing and designs to be another. You know, form or function, there's plenty of both, and there's plenty of things that meet in the middle. And, you know, I think this knife meets in the middle very well, but it's going to do its job as a cutting tool. So I guess the last thing to do here is check everything on this knife. After all that flipping and flailing, it is still perfectly centered up. These do have a true detent in them, and there is no detent lash there. How about, it's actually got a nice clicky detent. Pivot lash, nope. Soft open. And if you're not aware, you know, for people who know, sorry, but there are a lot of new people coming in and watching knife videos, knife content, EDC content. A compression style lock is a very, very strong, resilient, tough lock. It's one of the stronger locking mechanisms. Think of a reversed liner lock in the spine with a stop pin. It's going to make this knife very, very strong. I have never had a compression lock knife fail in any sort of test. They are very, very resilient. A lock that I can definitely trust. I've never had a compression lock, and I've never had a triad lock or a shark lock fail. And that's saying something. Very, very tough, guys. No movement whatsoever. No movement side to side. It is locked up. Locked up tighter than an ant's ass. Sorry. But it is very solid. If you're not aware, this knife is amazing. It's definitely on the more premium side of Vosteed's lineup, but this knife, in my opinion, is worth every penny. I mean, it is just, it meets everything that I want out of my folding knife. It looks awesome. It's really cool looking. It's a good size. It provides functionality. It carries well. It's comfortable as hell. It's got several ways to deploy this, and it is ultra satisfying to do so. Quick and easy one-hand operation. Huge fan of this knife. Huge, huge, huge fan of this knife. Go get yourself one. Use my link. Just kidding. But there you go. That is the RSKaos. Go get yourself one. You will not regret it. If you do have one of these, let me know what you think, or if you have had one or had the chance to handle one, let me know what you think down in the comments. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. I always appreciate it, everyone. Really helps push the video out there so more people have a chance to check it out, and let me know what you're carrying in your pockets down below as well. I'm going to put up a couple of new videos. Go check one of them out. Have yourself an awesome day. I will catch you on the next one.